Guilty Prepper, how's everybody doing this morning? You're watching Coffee with Ray. So, good coffee. I'm actually drinking Folgers blend this morning. Um, just an easy peasy coffee blend that I enjoy. And yeah, it's Folgers, but you know, what's the old song? Next best thing waking up is Folgers in your cup. So, 9 o'clock, and I'm here. And for those of you know, I'm trying to do this every morning at 9 a.m. so that I kind of get into a schedule so that folks know when it is I'm going to be going live and everything. And so if you want to make sure that you get my tune in and everything, you know, like, subscribe, share, and then ring that little bell. But ringing the little bell is the important part, because then you'll get notified whenever I do go live and everything. But it's interesting, and I'm hearing this from a lot of prepper groups out there, or prepper channels, is that they're seeing people disappear off of their subscriptions, people not getting notified. In fact, I've had several people contact me and say, hey man, I'm not getting notified of when you're going live and everything. So but yeah, so make sure that you like, subscribe, share, and ring that little bell so that you do get notified. And then check to make sure that you are subscribed, because yeah, the algorithm is doing something to the prepper channels. I guess they just don't want you to know that us preppers are going live or doing videos on YouTube. So today, well, tomorrow we are probably going to have, well, in fact, we are going to have a rate hike from the feds. And right now the rate is sitting at 5.0 to 5.25. Tomorrow they're going to raise it to 5.25 to 5.5, so another 0.25 increase and everything. And the thing is that folks, they keep saying, oh, we're doing this because of inflation, and you know, we've got to curb inflation and everything. And if you run the actual numbers from about 2 years ago to present, we are probably looking at about 18-19% inflation rate in reality, where in real reality we're probably up there in the 25% inflation. So it's not looking good. And it's been, you know, I've been unsubscribed to a lot of channels. Like you are choosing to set a time, I can do what I can. Yeah, thank you so much. But the reality, and they keep using inflation as the excuse, but the reality is that they raise the rates because they're trying to attract people to buy our debt. And you know, this constant rate hike and everything, the only thing they're doing is you know, making those T-bills more attractive and trying to get, you know, foreign investors to, you know, buy our debt. And so really has nothing to do with the rate of inflation. Yeah, it's curbing it a lot, but what they're doing is they're damaging the economy. They know it, everybody else knows it. And so, you know, it just, every time they do a rate hike, it just slows things down even more. Now, it was interesting. I was watching the Financial Prepper, and if you guys aren't watching him, tune in to him. He's got some good stuff and everything. I think we got a plane flying overhead. Stinking plane. Good time for coffee. But the big thing is that they just, I mean, Congress just approved that, you know, they need to raise the debt ceiling and everything so they can spend more money. And yeah, they just went crazy on that. I'm upset with, you know, the Speaker of the House for caving so easily and not really getting many things on the table. So, and there's a lot of Republicans that are upset with McCarthy too for caving like that. But the real reason is that we've got a debt payment coming up here, and we just don't have the money to do it. We need to sell, like, what, 1.3 trillion dollars in debt to make sure that we're able to have the money to pay other debt. And so it's kind of a big rob Peter to pay Paul sort of situation. And these rate hikes, all they do is they just damage the economy and things. But that's why we're preppers. This is why we prepare for things. And biggest thing that I want to encourage folks is really invest in your food. Food is a investment. And if you saw yesterday's video, the rice situation with India, India is just totally cutting off all rice exports. So no more rice coming from India except basmati. And that's going to severely affect the world. Not really going to affect the U.S. too much. I mean, we have pretty good rice production here. California produces a lot of rice and everything. And our nation really isn't a rice-consuming nation. Whereas the Middle East, Eurasia, Africa, those are all rice-consuming areas, and which is their main staple. Here, I would say our main staple is probably wheat and corn. And so those are the things that we keep an eye on as well. But if you've been watching, the wheat harvests are not looking good, and the corn harvests are also starting to not look very good as well. The heat wave and the droughts and everything going on in the Midwest and stuff, where primarily a lot of this cereal grain is produced, is not doing great. The heat and the lack of water is really damaging the output. So, but yeah, Fed's raising the rates tomorrow and everything. So how is that going to affect us? Well, it's going to affect us by harder to get home loans, or if you want a home loan, you're going to pay a higher price. Car loans, same thing. And in fact, it's really interesting. We're seeing more and more companies not be willing to loan for a used car. And so the banks are really tightening down the credit. And so it's something that, you know, if you need a new car or you're looking at a home, it's going to be costly. And I want to say that home loan rates right now are sitting around 6.5, 7%, which is a heck of a lot higher than 2 years ago when they were just sitting around 2.5 to 3.2 a couple years ago. So it's rough, folks. But one of the ways that you protect yourself when, you know, all these things are going on is I'm a huge fan of precious metals, and I think everybody needs to be adding to the stack. I think everybody needs to have some of that on hand. And there's a lot of people out there, well, you can't eat gold and silver, and that is true. But what you can do is you can barter and trade, and you can get food and everything. Like it or not, precious metals will always maintain their value. They always maintain their wealth and their buying power. They historically have never changed. A man's suit has always cost one gold ounce. A gun has always cost a half of an ounce of gold, or about 10 ounces of silver. And so, you know, a loaf of bread has always cost 1 silver dime. Gallon of gas has always cost, you know, a quarter of an ounce of silver. And so these prices have always maintained historically a norm. And you can really track these all the way back to the Greek Empire. There's a number of articles, I mean, Google it, and you'll see that gold and silver have always maintained value. And it's these pieces of paper that lose value and everything. But wanted to share some things here with you. This is something I'm starting to pick up. These, let's see if I can zoom in here. This is a, you know, copper round, and pick this up. So it's like 999 pure copper and everything. Picked this up at the local gun show that I was just at, you know, last weekend. And copper, you know, is a good tangible asset. It's always been a precious metal per se, but I've been watching the copper prices go up quite a bit. And I don't know the prices right now to be you know, truthful, but I want to say it's selling for somewhere around $325, $350. So for an ounce of copper, but copper prices are going up, and so start looking into these. These are affordable, and now the buying power of these are not going to be much, but you will, they still are going to maintain some sort of buying power. Other things that I like are, getting silver rounds is from JM Bullion, and just a silver round from there. And then a good always go-to are silver walking liberties. And this is actual money printed by the U.S. Mint. And so these are very good things to have on hand as well. But I get a lot of my stuff from JM Bullion, and no, I'm not getting any, credit or anything like that for promoting them or anything like that. But I like JM Bullion because they pick up the insurance and they pick up the shipping if you order over a certain amount of money or a certain amount of silver or gold or whatever. And they are now starting to carry copper rounds, which is, I found rather interesting. But yeah, JM Bullion, APMX, some of these other precious metal dealers on the web and everything are now starting to carry these because these are becoming more and more popular. But this is a very affordable, like I said, they're running about $350, $450 for an ounce of copper. And you might want to get them while the getting's good. Because these will go up in price as well and follow along with gold and silver. And something to, again, barter and trade with, when silver becomes, I mean, the projections are that silver will probably hit maybe 50 by the end of the year. A lot of speculators are speculating that, not only because of the Fed rate hike, but also because a lot of the banks are having problems. We're having liquidity problems because so many of the banks have invested in treasury bills or U.S. debt, and they bought the debt when it was sitting around 1.75. And so basically there's not much of a return on that sort of debt. And this is one of the reasons why the Feds are raising rate hikes again, so that the U.S. debt is more attractive. And so they're not doing it to fight inflation. Excuse me, they're doing it to be able to have more of an attractive item or something to sell. And this is what has so many people concerned about the BRICS nations and the BRICS currency coming into play, is that because the BRIC is going to be backed by gold, precious metals, rare earth metals, and a basket currency. The BRIC is actually going to be backed by a tangible asset, where right now our dollar is purely backed by IOUs and debt. So not a very good thing. And so just the common man thinking about it, do you want to put your money in a tangible asset, or would you put your money into someone's IOU? Well, you see how many people's IOUs have gone belly up and things. And so sooner or later, like it or not, the U.S. economy is not going to be able to keep up with the debt. And we're getting really close to that window where right now all we're doing is spending money just to pay off the interest. And so it's getting pretty outrageous. Now, another thing I wanted to show you, which I really like, and I was introduced to these last year or 2 years ago, but these are called Goldbacks, and you can go to goldback.com, check it out. But these are gold certificates, and this is a one Goldback denomination and 5 Goldback denomination. I mean, they're really pretty, but these are now legal tender in a number of states. For example, this is a New Hampshire Goldback, and so it's a legal tender in New Hampshire. And then this is a Wyoming Goldback, which is a legal tender in Wyoming. There's Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, New Hampshire, and I want to say North or South Dakota have Goldbacks, meaning that you can actually go down to your tax office and pay your taxes using Goldbacks. Now, why are these so good and everything is that these are literally impregnated with gold. And they've utilized a lot of counterfeit technology and all that and stuff. But this is worth 1/200th of an ounce of gold. This $1 one is worth 1/1000th of an ounce of gold, meaning that they have 1/1000th of an ounce of gold impregnated into this certificate, and then this one is 1/200th of an ounce of gold that is actually impregnated. Now, if you would hold these, you would feel that this one is a smidge heavier than this one, and I want to say they go up to denominations of all the way up to 50. So, and each one is a bigger certificate and also impregnated with more gold. Now, this one, again, you can go to JM Bullion and purchase these, or you can go to your coin shop dealer or APMX or some of these other dealers and buy Goldbacks. These are actually getting hard to find because more and more people are holding on to these. Because they are truly a viable form, a medium of transfer, and so, or medium of exchange, because they have gold backing them. So that's Goldback. But I really like them. But this is running about $4.25 for one of these certificates. And again, I think these are affordable for people who want to get into gold but don't have the money to be spending, $1,900, $2,000 for an ounce of gold. But with everything going on, and I'm coming full circle here, is that probably in the fall we're going to start seeing more and more banks start to fail. Janet Yellen likes to say, "Oh, they are merging." No, it means that these other banks are getting swallowed up by the bigger banks, and so they're allowing some of the big four banks to basically purchase these other banks for pennies on the dollar instead of them going belly up and the FDIC coming in and having to pay for, that FDIC insurance and stuff. So, but what you want to do is you want to have some precious metals on hand and really start thinking about, getting some of this stuff while it is still affordable. And interestingly enough, excuse me, an ounce of silver during the Weimar Republic was able to buy you a house. An ounce of gold was able to buy you a city block during the Weimar Republic. That's how much buying power these things had. And in Venezuela right now, because again, a lot of people say, "Oh, you can't eat gold and silver." Well, in Venezuela, people are carrying around, little pieces of gold and little pieces of silver, and actually shaving off gold and silver flakes to get haircuts, to pay for meals, and do other things. This right here, 1 ounce of silver, will buy you a month's worth of groceries in Venezuela at the moment. And so, dogs, hush up. Sorry about that, folks. But you want to start, stacking on these and getting them going. And I'm always looking for affordable things that you guys, tangible assets and stuff. And this is why I'm really liking these copper rounds. Now again, they're not going to maybe buy you much, but when gold and silver have, started to skyrocket, and gold and silver is getting ready to take off, in my personal opinion. I'm not a financial planner or anything like that. I just look at history. But every time that gold and silver has positioned itself with the S&P, which is at a point right now, we see gold and silver then shoot up like a rocket. Now, they're expecting maybe by the end of the year for gold to be hitting a $3,000 mark, and silver to bust that $30 mark and shoot all the way up to $50. Will this happen? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball or anything like that, but that's what a lot of the speculators are speculating. And so now is a very good time to kind of maybe get some of this stuff into your back pocket, and so that you have something to barter and trade with. Now, Fed now just came out a couple days ago, and with the CBDC coming out, and like it or not, I don't know of any way that we can fight that. We can find, workarounds and everything like that, but eventually folks will have to jump on board with the CBDC, especially if you're on Social Security or anything that the government has. So if you're taking any sort of government benefits or anything like Social Security, which you've paid into, and anything that's controlled by the Fed, probably is you're going to have to eventually get on with a CBDC. So there will be people that will hold out for as long as they can, and this is why preps are important. Having precious metals on hand is important. Having tangible assets that you can barter and trade with are important, and other tangible assets being, garden tools, working tools. Tools are a great barterable tangible asset, and so I highly recommend, when you're out at Lowe's or something, you're looking at buying a hammer, buy two. That way you have an extra hammer to barter and trade with. So, but another thing, I was watching Financial Prepper yesterday or the day before, and he was showing a chart of where we are in recession versus depression, and like it or not, and the numbers that they were using, and he got this chart from somewhere else too, so I wanted to do more research on it before I really get hot and heavy onto that one. But based on the numbers and everything, it's looking like we're already in a depression. And so are we completely there yet? I don't know. But his chart was rather interesting, and so I'm going to check out his channel more and really look and see what's going on there. But that's everything, Are the Feds going to raise the rates tomorrow? Yes, they are. It's like there's are the Feds going to do it? Are the Feds? No, they're doing it, folks. And so, precious metals, man, get them while you can. Jump on it, and because all they're going to do is go up. So, that's everything today. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, and ring that little bell. In fact, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up right now. Thumbs up. And then tell other people about what we're doing here, coming every day at 9 a.m. Eastern, and Coffee with Ray. So, good coffee. So, we'll see you. Goodbye. God bless. Raymond Mhor killed the prepper.